Star Trek Starfleet Academy is being ravaged online, but that doesn't mean the critics are going to get in line with that anytime soon. Instead, they're doing what they dread, and that is defending it to the end, even as they lose credibility. So why would they do it? Why put their careers on the line for slop that they can't stop hate for? Well, it turns out it just might be something deeply embedded in the industry. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another video of excellence on the way. It's all we know how to do. It's on the docket. We're going to rock it. Let's bring it to you. It's Star Trek Starfleet Academy, another Kurtzman production that is the destruction of Star Trek. But the critics refusing to say that. If you'd like to know why, click the like button, drop a comment down below, and we'll go into the, well, belly of the beast, where we'll feast on the industry of the shills. You're not allowed to make fun of Star Trek. Don't you dare do it. That's what we're finding out from Hollywood in Toto, the website that if you're not yet going there every single day, make it part of your way in this live. Christian Toto, who's on the panel, is the author here. Are critics grading Starfleet Academy on a woke curve? Cartoonishly bad Trek update shows chasm between critics and audiences. Oh my! They're not allowed to say bad things about a show that's collapsing. Richard Roper said what he wasn't supposed to say about the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. The veteran film critic suggested his peers graded Paul Feig reboot on a curve. That's not something a critic shares lightly, and Roper isn't right-leaning by any stretch. He really did believe it, but he got in trouble. And guess what, folks? How does that connect to Star Trek Starfleet Academy? Well, the Paramount Plus series debuted earlier this year and quickly became fodder for gimlet-eyed YouTube stars like Nerdrotic Film Threat and The Critical Drinker. That's a good thesaurus reference there. They weren't pleased. Going down, folks. The new series features a youthful cast led by screen veteran Holly Hunter, Elastigirl herself. The saga boasts an aggressively diverse cast, not unusual for a brand that featured TV's first interracial cast more than 60 years ago. And it also has an upbeat tone, often compared to One Tree Hill and Beverly Hills 90210.
I'm sorry, that sentence for Star Trek just blows my mind.
Is not a compliment. And by many accounts, it's as bad as advertised, and the ratings show it. Even Collider spelled out the dire news for the series. As of the time of writing, says Collider, just 3 days after the premiere of episode 3, Starfleet Academy has been ousted from the current Paramount Plus streaming charts in the U.S. This is made even more damning when considering the lack of brand new content providing competition for Starfleet Academy. Shows like Criminal Minds, South Park, and guess what, folks? Even Everybody Loves Raymond, and so do we. Everybody Loves Raymond went off the air more than 20 years ago, is beating the brand new Starfleet Academy as it comes out. The free YouTube version of episode 1 has fewer views than the Critical Drinker's takedown of it, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and yet on Rotten Tomatoes, Christian is sitting at 93%. How can this be? Why are they terrified to criticize a show that nobody is watching? Not even they are starting this thing on streaming. What's going on here?
Well, that you were kind enough to read my story, so I should maybe let other people weigh in before I do.
Okay, well, let's do that. Nat,
yeah.
What do you think about this idea that critics are terrified to touch these woke performative streaming shows and movies that they're sacrosanct? You can't say anything negative about them. I think it's kind of quasi-religious. It's cult-like. What do you say?
Well, it is cult-like because it's like a feedback loop, I think. Like they all help and support each other, but I also don't know for how much longer like the serious film critics have a job for. Because I don't know how many people still actually listen to them. People listen to people like you, like Nerdrotic, like The Critical Drinker, everybody else except the actual people that are hoity-toity.
That is a great point because there's no authenticity in it.
And that's why people are going to alternate news sources. I mean, it's almost like the news. You don't trust the news today, so you end up looking for a podcaster or someone else who's doing something original and authentic. You know, listen, art is always subjective, so I always feel a little weird taking on subjects like this, but I watched episode 1. It's really terrible in many, many ways. And, you know, to sort of go the other way and say this is exciting and vibrant and ignore all these obvious, significant flaws, bad dialogue, story plots that don't make no sense, goes on and on. You really are damaging your own credibility. And that's It's not good. I mean, if you're a film critic without trust, then you really have nothing.
Is this an offshoot of toxic positivity that's not just bled over from games to shows to critics, where people they're unwilling or incapable of accepting like actual criticism, constructive actual criticism, and the people that are in your business, Christian, they'll watch this stuff and then they know that in order to get access to the next thing that potentially might, skyrocket their career, they have to be nice about this garbage?
Honestly, I've been working this for 20 or more years, and I've never gotten pushback from studio reps, PR people, anything like that, saying you must like our stuff. So I think it's a good, but I don't think that's it. I think it's cultural. I really do.
In service of my own question, because I'm self-serving, let me ask, do you ever feel like you didn't get access to something because of a previous bad review?
No, not at all. I mean, I get access to all the major films. I mean, all the indie studios are desperate for anyone to review their stuff. So I'm an anyone, so that I fall into that. No, I think at one point years ago, I was working at Breitbart News, and John Nolte and I were just hammering at the HBO movie Game Change, the Sarah Palin film. Mm-hmm. And I feel like maybe there was a little trouble getting some HBO access at the time. I'm kind of fuzzy on it, but that's the only time it ever seemed to come up at all. But no, it's not an issue. I mean, what I find so interesting about this whole situation is it's almost like these critics, they sensed that it was a clunker. They sensed it was woke, and they rushed to the barricades. They needed to defend it. They couldn't accept that this was a poor TV show. They couldn't process that.
I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that they're used to being a monolith, and they have to reinforce each other's message in order to try and continue to put forth the fiction that their take is correct. They all reinforce each other, but that's not really working anymore.
It's not. That's a great point.
That speaks to what Nat brought up, right? I mean, they really don't have the cultural influence that they have, and they're so reliant upon it. I've been watching, other critics on this, and I'm often taken aback when I'm looking at sites I used to think were halfway decent, and I'm now kind of turned off because they always assign a political attribution to why people dislike something, and then they attack the people who dislike it. Like, for example, Collider, who, just went after right-wing attacks and ongoing backlash, and went out after, they go out of their way to just reinforce that toxic positivity. And I really do believe that this is, the giant creeping inelegance of cultural rot.
Right. Yeah. And to just mirror back on that idea, if they are saying, well, you don't like this because of political reasons, or you dislike this because of racial reasons, I think that's one of those instances where they're kind of telling on themselves when they say that they like something like this. This is so poorly well written. This is so awkward. This is really not even a shadow of what Gene Roddenberry was doing in the 1960s or in the 80s and 90s with the Rick Berman Star Trek. This is if they are saying that you dislike it because of race, I think it's that soft bigotry of low expectations, where they're saying that they like something because they want to be supportive. They want to show their penance towards some kind of thing. They want to look elevated when they're kind of lying to themselves about why they like something. It's a real articulate show kind of idea.
I think that there's something else that the audience should pay attention to as well, and that is when you're watching a critic's output, it's important that you pay attention to those times when they do something that you would not expect them to do, when they like something that you would be surprised by or wouldn't expect that they would like, because those are most often when they're actually being honest. And I'm not actually making a joke here. This is why Jonah's saying that the sequel trilogy is 50% good, while I think is an absolutely terrible take. And I said
that I like 50% of the sequel trilogy. I didn't say it was good.
God bless your heart, John.
I think you did say that, but either way, whichever phrasing you want to use, if you're not saying that simply to stir up the chat, it's an honest take, and you're going to take some tomatoes for it, but it's an honest take, and that makes you valuable as a reviewer, more valuable than somebody who would say, always praise everything that the Kurtzmans do, if you get what I mean.
I'm definitely more valuable than someone who praises everything that Alex Kurtzman ever says.
By the way, I expected to hate, and I took a lot of heat for this, but I didn't hate the Snow White movie from last year. I gave it a slightly above mediocre grade, and I took some heat for it, but that's just the way I felt. And by the way, all this talk about review bombing, that the evil right-wingers are review bombing Starfleet Academy. Well, the Melania movie comes out tomorrow, the documentary, and I'm sure the reviews will either be non-existent or scathing. Is that review bombing? Will we get articles in major organizations saying that's review bombing?
Jimmy Kimmel just came out against this documentary and saying it was a giant advertisement or a love letter to Jeff Bezos, right?
He hasn't seen it.
I can't believe it. Jimmy Kimmel doesn't like something Melania made? What? I feel like if we keep going with this segment, folks, we're going to get into a confession time where we all admit the things that everybody hates that we secretly love.
I love Showgirls. I will tell anybody.
Helping Hollywood produce a product that you want to consume. That's what we do each and every day, folks. And this time, it's time to, say goodbye. We know, but don't cry. No, for we will have more videos on the way. We love to bring those videos and that information. And by the way, if you'd like even more, consider going to the Patreon page. It's www.patreon.com/WDWPro. It's where we put out stuff exclusively there that we simply can't put out in other places for whatever reason, be it because it's too spicy or because, perhaps we're working to corroborate it. But you can find out things early and first over there. Folks, we surely have had a great time spending time with you. Consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment right on down below. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.